scab for the bosses. Don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you on? Which side
Taylor.
are you on? Yes.
Remember when you had mono?
I did have mono. My partner got
What a 7th grade ass problem to have.
And like the thing that's funny is like I would not have known. Like my partner was in the hospital.
Oh my god.
Because of her lungs, and I just like we wouldn't have known we had mono because like I didn't feel any different. Like
yeah,
which I guess is a pretty.
You got them lungs of steel. It's like a leather glove in there.
Yeah, I try. You know,
yeah.
I've heard that if your lungs can like almost fully heal and like regenerate before you're 30. I don't know if that's a true fact, but
if you quit
like smoking, yeah,
really.
So I'm really hoping that pulls through for me.
Damn, too late for my mom, but
yeah, unfortunately, a lifetime of smoking.
Yeah,
traditionally,
I love you, Mel, but you gotta, girl.
I'm just saying, Zins
I'm coming
are sick.
for you.
You can Zin anywhere. I have a Zin in right now.
I've literally been trying to get her to switch over to vapes, and she's like, I just love the taste of Camel cigarettes. And I'm like, you're a sick fuck.
That is I feel like that's a very like that's like a very like 70s thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, to just like be like really in like I don't know, it's the acquired taste of a Camel cigarette.
She grew up like 80s 90s, so it makes sense. You could still smoke in bars in fucking Costa Mesa. So
true. My grandma had a job in the 90s where she could smoke in her office, which is crazy.
That is kind of crazy. I do feel like by the 90s they were kind of like, okay,
they were like maybe
taking this a little too far.
Yeah,
but
and it was like like 5 years ago for France that they finally like banned smoking inside.
Let me tell you, barely. Well, I haven't been to France in a while, but when I was in Europe, just barely, we went to Berlin, Amsterdam, and Prague, and the amount, especially in Berlin, the amount of indoor smoking that was happening, every bar, every club, it is unavoidable. Yeah. I smelled like cigarettes the entire trip. Yeah. It was just no air I breathed. Every air I breathed, it was like I was smoking. I might as well have just been smoking a cigarette because they truly, in Amsterdam, they sell rings that have like a little clip on it that holds your cigarette so you can smoke your cigarette while you're biking.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like cigarettes and lack of water is the true mantra of like.
Oh my god, you can't get water.
Europe.
They will not give you water. They won't. They almost refuse to give you water.
Funny.
And I'm like, please. I have been doing drugs and drinking for like 6 days straight. I've been walking all day.
I'm so thirsty.
Please give me water.
And
they're like, oh, did you want a shot glass of bubbly water? And I'm like, no, I need like a 20-ounce bottle of pure
like a chaser. You want to chase with some water, right?
Yeah. They're like, did you want a beer? Is that what you were ordering? A beer? And I'm like, water. Please.
Fucking
I'm so drunk.
Like,
water. I'm like, I'm already so drunk. I have not stopped drinking since I landed. Please help me.
Please, for the love of God.
And they're like, no.
They're like, absolutely not.
We won't, but here's a glass of wine.
Oh god, that's funny. That reminds me of like the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they're like I'll have a vegan I'll have a virgin screwdriver, and someone's like, that's just orange juice.
Yeah, I'm like, can I have a virgin tonic water and vodka or something?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, that's like the only way you can order vodka water is if you like order something so virgin that they just like eventually it just like distills down to water.
Yeah, like they're like, could I get like 0.2 of an ounce of alcohol?
Like
in that?
they don't understand unless you put it in like terms of alcohol, and then they're like, oh,
okay,
here, and then they pour you a glass of water.
That's funny.
This is Remarks.
Boy, is it, baby.
Woo.
We said this in the beginning, but my name's Tayler.
I'm Phoebe.
And we do this podcast.
Yeah. Did we say our names already?
I mean, you just said Tayler, and I said Oh, no, I guess I didn't say Phoebe
You
that
didn't.
time.
It was a mystery.
It was a mystery.
Who was Tayler talking back
Who
to?
was I talking to? Yeah.
We're in a new space. It's just my house. We're just back in my house again.
But yeah, so if it's a little echoey, we'll figure it out.
We will.
Yeah.
It sounded good thus far, but we'll see.
And I mean, I think I told everybody, but like I got new programs and stuff, so we're working through kinks.
We are. So thank you for being patient.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're back in my. So we're flowy, we're loose, we're like in a new space. Also, my puppy is here. She is currently laying down and being very good. But if you hear some little like, I'm sorry.
Don't be. You have nothing to apologize for. You're actually the listener is lucky to get to hear.
They are.
Be blessed by Shiv's voice.
They are.
Yeah.
And they should be so grateful.
I couldn't agree more.
She's so fucking cute.
I'm happy to report back that I did listen to Brat. Loved it. Especially like the more emotional songs. I was like, whoa, it kind of caught me off guard.
No, she hits. Have you ever listened to her 2020 How I'm Feeling Now album?
I don't know if I've listened
She
to
has some very good sad bangers on there that you're like, damn, wow. But yeah, the songs, have you listened to So I?
Oh, So I is heart-wrenching.
So I finally got on a new medication for my mental health, and that song came on, and it was like, I'd listened to the album, but it was like the first time that I was like fully processing that song right before my first psychiatry appointment, and I was just in my car sobbing, like fully sobbing, and then I go in and I'm like still wiping tears from my eyes, and I'm like, anyway, please give me drugs, because I clearly I need them.
I need them very badly. No, but really good. I was listening to it on a run, and I feel like, it was like...
Ooh, you're like...
Yeah, like, it hit, and then, like, the, like, emotional songs would come on, and I'd be like, why do I want to cry in the club right now?
I know.
Like, on the street running.
Literally.
I'm on 300 East right now.
I went to a Brat night the other night, and it was exactly that. It was, like, very fun dancing, and then you're like, oh, my God, like where's my life going? Yeah, it was really good.
Very good album. Very big fan.
Yeah, me too. What are we talking about today?
Well, I'm talking about fucking Cybertrucks, baby. Or as I titled my article, Cyberfucks.
I can't believe I've actually like never heard that before.
Cyberfucks, yeah.
That's really funny.
What can I say?
You're a
pioneer
wordsmith.
Of sorts,
yeah.
I'm a writer, you know.
You are. Yeah, we're talking about like corporate fuck ups.
Yeah.
Corporations making things badly.
Yeah, just going back to our roots of just
it is really our roots.
Complaining about corporations, you know.
Yeah, it's what we're best at.
Yeah, it's true.
Take us away.
Yeah, no, I would love to. But yeah, so let me take you back to a time when life was simple, when dinosaurs still roamed the earth, when we all hadn't collectively experienced the most traumatic global event of the past decade. I'm, of course, talking about 2019.
I truly, not to derail again, but God was that like such a great year of my life, and I was like,
so good.
Everything is gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. It's like, it's funny because like at the time I was like, it's just a year, right? But looking back on it, I'm like, wow,
it meant so much to me.
It was so beautiful.
I took it for
granted.
It was so beautiful. I took it for granted. I really did.
I think we all did because I remember I played a show March. Yeah, I think it was like March 19th of 2020. So like right before, like literally like a week or two later, like everything was shut down, and I was like, but I remember like 2019 into early 2020, I was like, this is gonna be such a good year. Music's gonna pop off.
I was jazzed.
I'm gonna be playing so many shows.
Yeah,
like,
I was so jazzed
be recording
for my life.
music, and then I was inside for 3 years straight.
Yeah,
so.
Now I've never been more depressed.
Now nothing is the same, and it never will be.
Woo. Anyway, so it's 2019. Things are okay.
Things are feeling good. And it's wild to think that it's been 5 years since then. And in turn, 5 years. Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Continue.
5 years since 2019.
Okay.
And in turn,
no, I'm processing that.
5 years since Elon Musk announced the Cybertruck.
That was really the beginning of the end.
It was a bad omen, honestly.
It was.
It was like
a dark horse, if you will.
It's so funny too because I feel like I'm, like the memes have picked up again.
Yeah.
But in the research for this, I was seeing some of the like OG memes about Cybertrucks and just how like nobody thought like, I mean, obviously like the Elon bros always think that like Elon breathes and they're like, woo. But like everybody fucking hated how it looked.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of our listeners remember seeing the Cybertruck flood their social media accounts and the cultural zeitgeist with its low poly design and brutalist metal form. No,
That's
literally.
such a good way to describe it.
It looks like when you're fucking playing a video game and an asset hasn't loaded in all the way
it's
yet.
like very sharp.
Yeah, and then like all the details like slowly load, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it fucking looks.
It does look low poly.
Oh. The memes and the jokes about it looking like a RoboCop car or being a piece of sheet metal came and went, as most memes do, in the never-ending content meat grinder we call the internet. However, as I'm sure you have seen, some Cybertrucks have begun popping up on streets, probably on streets near you.
Oh, I've
unless
seen
you live in like fucking Missouri or something.
And it's weird.
Yeah, it's odd.
Every time I see one, I'm like, please
like
be
take.
on like way far the fuck away from me because I'm afraid it's gonna just explode.
No, and it's not honestly not
it's not an unfounded fear.
That it's just gonna explode or just like break down in front of you. Yeah, and you know, they stick out like sore thumbs among the glossy SUVs and sedans.
True.
That pollute our this is a good line, that pollute our infrastructure arteries.
Ooh, yeah, well said.
Thank you. Again, writer. There's like a bit in Family Guy, fucking
Brian the dog.
He like walks up, he's like, Brian, writer.
That's you.
In 2014, Elon was already making plans, or claims, I should say, about the first Tesla truck. In an interview with CNN, stating it would be the equivalent of an Ford F-150, which is some beautiful irony to what we see later.
Girl. That was a beautiful dream, babe.
Beautiful dream. The announcement video in 2019, to do a little recap of the vid, because it was kind of insane. It opens with Elon introducing the truck, and you have like pyrotechnics and like flashing lights. Like it looked like a band was coming out on stage, like literally like.
It's like those Apple releases they used to do.
It's like it's kind of silly. Like again, it's like it's just he's announcing a truck. Like it's not like. Again, it felt like a concert, you know?
Yes. Like looking back on the iPhone release video now, you're like, okay, calm down, everybody.
It's cool. Like, the iPhone's cool, I guess. Like, I don't really think the Cybertruck was that cool, but it's like,
I'm also just not that into tech, so like.
But that's the thing is, I feel like they're treating tech like it's like. Again, like a concert or I don't know. It's like they're like masking it almost. I don't know. Like it's just a car. It's a bloated car commercial, really. But yeah, so that was to show how hip and cool Elon and in turn Tesla are, but specifically Elon, right? Like everything's about how hip and cool Elon is.
Yeah.
It reminded me of a large band coming on stage at an arena. Elon then proceeds to feed us various claims of the Cybertruck and why it's going to be the best truck ever, and it's going to be so much cooler than all the other trucks.
Of course.
And its truck dad can beat up your truck dad, and that it's super cool, and all your friends will be jealous because they don't have one, you know?
Widowy, it's the coolest truck ever.
Widowy, my truck is really cool, and it looks like it's from Twan. The movie.
From Twan.
The Cybertruck, to its credit, is in fact made out of an exoskeleton, which, from what I have seen, I will say does make it a very sturdy car, because it is like a fucking brick.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary. I don't have anything like too crazy in here, but like they did like a crash test that I watched, and like the Cybertruck like didn't roll like the other truck that like was in the crash test, but like I imagine like T-boning that truck, like if you're in the other car, would not end well for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is like the reason why the cars that we have these days crumple is because it absorbs the crumpling of the like the outer shell of your car. It absorbs the impact, so you as the human being inside of the car does not absorb that impact.
Yeah, there's
a reason why when you get into a car crash, your car crumples into a little paper ball is because it's supposed to. It's safer.
It's literally better, yeah. But anyway, yeah, so it's a fucking brick. And again, seems to be somewhat, again, the safety is debatable. Some people are like, obviously like, oh, it's super safe, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't roll, I guess. But there does seem to be some differing opinions. And the exterior is made completely out of stainless steel that Tesla developed to be used on space rockets. So it is like a Tesla developed certain kind of stainless steel. They call it like super hard something stainless steel 3 or something they call it.
Interesting.
It's like an alloy something based. I don't know. There's fancy car and space term shit.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, there's that. They smashed the Cybertruck with a sledgehammer in the demonstration. And again, to give credit where it's due, the stainless steel did not dent from the sledgehammer. So pretty fucking hard stainless steel, I guess.
Like, it's not necessarily a good thing, though. When it comes to, like, vehicles, that's not necessarily a good thing.
Again, yeah, going back
like,
to the
crumple,
safety thing.
Like, I think it's called, like, crumple physics or something. It's, like, a real thing that is, like, the point of the safety of cars.
True. Yeah, and, like, they had, like, they brought out another truck door, and they, like, that one dented, obviously. Obviously, because someone hit it with a sledgehammer. In the demonstration, he claimed it's bulletproof, like the actual stainless steel is bulletproof to 9mm bullets.
Jesus.
Yeah. Which I was like,
why?
What kind of fucking, like, I mean, I guess.
They're just afraid that people that drive Cybertrucks are going to be getting shot at.
I mean, yeah, their primary market's America, so I guess you never know.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
And during the test portion of it, the armored glass, so they brought out like a normal car sheet of glass, right? And they like dropped this ball on it, and it like it, cracked and broke or whatever.
Yeah.
They like dropped it from in the air, and it like fell down. And the Cybertruck armored glass like withstood that drop test. So it supposedly better glass, right?
Which, like, well, you say your thing first, because I also have thoughts.
This, however, was short-lived because the actual window on the truck, so not like the pane of glass they brought out, did not withstand somebody throwing that metal ball into them. They cracked and nearly shattered in the demonstration.
So bullets go a lot faster than that.
That is true. And I mean, like, yeah, I guess they didn't prove that the body was also stainless or was like bulletproof. Yeah. Like, he didn't shoot a gun in the demonstration.
Yeah. Also, like, okay, windshields being able to withstand like a rock flying at it is important.
Good. Yeah.
However, again, there's like a way that windshields and like car windows are made, and the way that they crack is specific, again, for your safety.
Yeah, safety tested stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and again, I think it is kind of funny, like, seeing Elon not embarrassed, but he was like, oh, things to improve on because the ball cracked the window.
Oh, my God.
Elon also showed a video of a Cybertruck winning a tug-of-war contest against a Ford F-150. They had like the two cars driving with a rope whilst the Cybertruck was going uphill. So it was like pulling the Ford uphill. And they had it beating a Porsche 9-11, which is a funny name. Porsche 911 in a race, like in a video.
Interesting.
It's important to note that in 2009, it was stated that the price of the Cybertruck would start at $39,000, with 3 models that would increase in price up to $69,000 was like the highest priced one.
Right.
And I assume that's not counting like if you add your own shit or like get add-ons and stuff.
Sure.
But, about 2 million people put down the $100 reservation to get their hands on the truck of the future with no thought about what could go wrong. I mean, Tesla is a trusted car brand. It would never push a bad product out before it was ready.
They've never, ever done that.
Not once has Elon ever ruined a product.
Oh, no.
X is great, and we all love it.
Yeah, and Teslas themselves are great cars that have never had a single issue.
Yeah. And I feel like this, like, my episode, it's kind of a nice, like, cool drink of water from the depressing stuff. Because it's mostly just, like, me bitching about how like
Yeah.
bad Cybertrucks are
Yeah.
and complaining, but it's funny. I don't know. The goal of Tesla was to roll out 250,000 of these bad boys, and it's estimated that that won't be able to happen until 2025.
What a shock.
Which is in fact 6 years after the truck was announced. Like, imagine putting $100 down to reserve a Cybertruck, and then 6 years later, like,
Yeah.
if that happened now, I would be 33.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I'm glad that it wasn't like $100 is not like that much, but still, I mean, you're like expecting to receive a product,
think, right?
you know?
Well, and I mean, you put the $100 reservation and then you buy the truck, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, moving to our modern era, how is the Cybertruck living up to its demonstration? Phoebe, inflation happens. We all
It
get that.
does.
But how much do you think the Cybertruck is actually going for these days?
Let's see. What was the original price of the like lowest cost model?
Lowest cost was $39,000.
I'm gonna guess 50.
The cheapest one, and granted, this was being resold, I would assume.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I think you have to order them directly from Tesla if you want a brand new one. The cheapest resale one I could find online was $114,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're like at least, I think when you order one, it's at least $100,000.
Wow.
So a little off of that 39,000, even the 69,000.
Just a little. Just a little.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So like a third of what a house costs.
Yep.
Neat.
Very cool and accessible.
I can't imagine a world wherein which I would willingly pay even near $100,000 for a car.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking imagine.
And again, like as we'll see, it's not that good of a car. Like it's not good. You're paying to like have it, you know? Like you're paying
That's
to
exactly.
be like, I have the Cybertruck. Like,
yes.
It's not like you're not paying for any like super luxurious like. Because again, if I'm gonna pay $100,000 for a car, like it's gonna be the nicest.
Oh
fucking
yeah,
car
it
around,
better be fucking
know? Like
mint as shit.
that's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
Anyway,
Like if I'm paying $100, I'm getting a damn Lamborghini or something,
literally,
or like a Lotus Elise or whatever.
yeah, like get something sick, dude. Like,
Yeah.
or like some classic fucking like muscle
Right,
cruiser that's
yes.
like been restored or
Grease
whatever.
lightning ass.
Exactly, yeah. Be Danny Zuko from fucking Grease. Dude.
I forgot that his last name is Zuko. That's really
Yeah.
funny.
I think it is, right? Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's buried in there somewhere.
Yeah, deeply
story.
implanted.
My mom, when I was probably like 11, so my sister was probably like 6, and she like we would watch Grease, and my sister loved it, right? And so we were like, we're just watching Grease all the time. Just a good musical.
Yeah.
But my mom stopped letting at least her watch it because she would like sing the songs, and in the song Grease Lightning it says like the chicks will cream or something. And she was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't let you watch that.
I can't have my 6-year-old saying the word cream.
Love it. In April of this year, Tesla recalled the truck due to malfunctions with the accelerator pedal. And as I'm sure you can imagine, that's an important part of a car.
Yeah. Yeah, the gas pedal, yeah.
Drivers were at risk of being stuck going full speed because of the accelerator pedal like getting stuck and not being able to brake while the pedal is engaged.
Oh, okay.
So you would just be full speed going down the fucking highway, and like you just wouldn't be able to stop.
Cool.
So again, something
So
that
it's just like a basic function of a car.
yeah, like something that a car should do.
Jesus, dude.
Here's a quote from a Guardian article by Kerry Paul. This is another black eye for Tesla, which has added to the chaos going on for Musk, said Dan Ives, senior equity analyst at Wedbush Securities. Cybertruck is the pedestal moment, and a recall out of the gates is a bad look. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I would
real
agree.
bad look. Yeah. Especially when it's something like that. Like, I understand, like, oh, we accidentally, like, produced a couple of lemons where it's like, oh, something's, like, weird with the like, the engine stalls or, like, the transmission doesn't totally. But the accelerator pedal gets, like, stuck in acceleration mode and you literally can't fucking stop the car.
Stop. Yeah, it's just like that's, and not only is that, like, an oversight of just having a car, but it's like, that's dangerous. Like,
oh my
someone's gonna
God,
fucking
that
die.
is, you kill people immediately.
Yeah, like, Jesus Christ.
Like, if my car breaks down, I might be all right, but like if I can't stop the car from propelling itself forward, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, like it's fucking insane.
Good Lord.
So after claiming the vehicle is going to be one of the best off-roading vehicles in the game, it has been seen that the Cybertrucks get stuck in sand, snow, and dirt, which if you can't take your truck off-roading, what's the point of having a truck?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I guess,
if you can't drive it in dirt,
right? Like, there's been,
why do I own a truck?
Go on TikTok and look at like Cybertruck breakdown, like look something up. Like, you will see videos upon videos of people being like, took my Cybertruck out in the dunes for the first time, and like literally it just fucking like axle breaks, like it stops running, like it cannot off-road. And again, coming from Elon Musk, who said it's going to be a comparable to the Ford F-150, and saying that it's like the best off-road, it's good for everything, the best off-roading truck there is. Yeah. The tug of war contest that the Cybertruck won going uphill in the video demo in 2019 was recreated by a YouTuber named Cyber Hooligan, which I like that name.
That's fun.
And the Cybertruck lost miserably. The Ford F-150 completely beat the Cybertruck.
Interesting. How did that happen?
That's so weird, yeah.
That is so weird.
Which, again, I think is a little funny, like, poetic irony that he was comparing it so much to the Ford F-150. And, like, it cannot compare. Like, it didn't even move the Ford at all. Like, so funny. It also, I'm sure I might have this in here somewhere, but it also lost the race against the Porsche that it beat in the video as well. So all lies.
I love how companies or corporations especially can just lie.
Yeah,
I love just being able to lie. I think I'm just gonna start lying like way more in my life, and when people are like find out that it's a lie, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm sorry, but if fucking Tesla can do it, I should be able to do it.
Speak to my PR department. Like,
exactly, and it's just you.
Yeah,
people. I just give them your number, and you're like, she's right.
Yeah, no, you're
I don't
crazy.
tell you.
I'm just gaslighting everyone in Phoebe's life. I'm like, you're the one that's actually insane.
My gaslight department, and it's just Tayler.
Yeah, no, I would too immediately. Yeah. That's like, and if any of my friends are ever like, hey, I need you to be my manager from fucking, KFC,
Chick-fil-A or whatever.
Chick-fil-A, that I worked for back in 2018. I'm like,
that's me.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm gonna sell the fuck out of that too.
Absolutely.
I love it. I've gotten plenty of friends jobs that way, and
yeah,
I'm proud of that.
My friend used to call in for my other friend when we were in like high school and pretend to be her mom because she had a very good like mom voice, and she would be like, "This is Jennifer Bleep Bloop. I'm gonna need to check Sally out of school." So
true, and probably I mean, that's what a homie does. Honestly,
exactly. Yeah. You lie.
You lie for your friends. Yeah. In some cases, you commit felonies for your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's just...
And that's beautiful.
And I think that's beautiful. Though the Cybertruck doesn't rust easily because of the resistant stainless steel, moisture and dirt seems to oxidize on the outside of the vehicle when it is left in the rain. This can be cleaned with a variety of household cleaners, but seems to mean that you can't leave your Cybertruck out in the rain without having little orange spots on it, which for a $100,000 vehicle would kind of frustrate me.
Yeah, because my vehicle has been left out in the rain and the snow since the day that I bought it, and it's not rusting at all, unless there's like a little tiny spot where the paint is chipped. But
that's what I'm saying. Well, and that's another thing is it's like, like cars get dirty, but you can usually wash them off with water and soap. You need like household, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and again, for a truck that's supposed to be all conditions,
Yeah, if it's costing me that much money and it's claiming to be like a rugged outdoor truck.
I don't know. Many have reported their vehicles just breaking and not running completely, or like systems will break down, the cameras don't work, there's like issues with the center this is just a general beef I have with the automotive industry. Quit making all of the shit on a screen now.
Oh, right?
Give me little buttons, because if a button breaks, I can still use my car.
Exactly. And it's like dangerous, because I don't want to be like touching a screen and having to look at a touchscreen. Like, I should be able to, because I feel like when there's like a tactile button, I can kind of like, I don't have to look, and I can press like, I know when I'm pressing the button that feels like this, I'm making the fan of my AC go up. But when it's all on a fucking screen, we were driving this like BMW or something when my family was in California for a wedding. And it was like the scariest shit I've ever done, because everything was like technology. Like almost nothing was like an actual like button or pedal or whatever. And I was like, we're going to die in this shit.
Yeah, literally. And people are like, oh, it's so advanced. It's so technology advanced. And it's like, the reason they do that is because software is way easier to develop than hardware. You throw a touchscreen on it and you can fucking put it, like program it all in.
Right.
Versus having to manufacture each button that you put in a car.
Yeah.
So it's like, really, they like sell it as like innovation and like, oh, it's technical luxury. But it's like, it's cheaper for them, so they want to do that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is the, I don't know, opposite of innovation. I don't know.
Literally, though. Literally.
Yeah, if you're just making things worse, I don't know.
But capitalism breeds innovation. Though,
capitalism does breed innovation.
Doesn't it?
How would we have gotten like root beer flavored vape juice without capitalism? Answer me that, fucking socialists.
Riddle me that, Karl Marx.
Yeah, literally. Root beer flavored vape juice. But you know what also probably tastes like root beer flavored vape juice?
Is it ads?
It's ads that will probably not be there.
Yum, 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 blank, empty airspace. That will probably not even be 1 second long, and then it will just cut right back.
True. Well, I do have the little transition music now. So
that's true. There's some beautiful, funky Tayler made. Oh, wait.
What?
For your, like, producer tag.
Tailor made?
Tailor made or something like that.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
That is beautiful. We're copywriting that right now. You cannot
take it. I'm mailing myself the idea, and it's
copyrighted.
It's got
Shut
the
up, go away.
government seal on it.
Yeah,
so
the government seal.
The government seal on it. I did that once. I know I'm tangenting again when we're
who cares?
But I did that once because when I was in like 4th grade, I invented a little superhero named Toast Man. I like drew comics of him. And his sidekick was Captain Milk, and they would fight various breakfast foods. Like
Taylor.
The atomic waffle was one enemy.
I need to see this.
I don't know if I have the comics anymore,
but please ask your mom or something.
I'll see if she has any. But I remember my dad was like, "Oh, like draw it and write like the date, and then mail it to yourself, because then you get like a government seal on it, and that's like." A way to copyright it, I guess.
Huh. When is that supposed to be coming?
I did that when I was like a kid.
Oh, so it was mailed to you like already.
Yeah, like I got it. You
okay.
mail it to yourself and then or something. Yeah. But
anyway.
Yeah.
Toastman.
We're back. Let's go.
Hey.
How was your break? How was your break?
It was nice. I took the baby out potty, and she went potty, and we ran around a little bit, and she tried to eat, grass and shit that was in the backyard, and I gave her some kisses, and then yeah.
I overcompensated a little bit because little inside scoop, listener. Phoebe's mic was being real not loud when we started, and so I turned her up, and now the first part of this she might be a little loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. And you know how I yell, so
it's just an inevitability of life that your mic's gonna be hotter for some reason.
It will always be. Yeah, I had a little vulnerability moment. I had an ex who one time told me that I talked way too loud, and I've been insecure about it ever since.
I love the cadence
I just
and the
get
ring
excited.
of your voice.
I'm sorry that I like to to project what I have to say.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know. Because as a person with hearing problems,
yeah.
I want the people around me to be able to hear what I'm saying. So I'm going to loudly project what I have to say because I'm just being conscious. I'm being woke and making sure that everybody around me can hear what I'm saying.
Being inclusive.
Ex-partner who doesn't even listen to this podcast.
Literally. Yeah, no, I mean, I think projecting, I don't know, coming from a musician standpoint, so it's usually good to project your voice. It's a skill and it's good. Like, I don't usually, like, obviously when I'm like plugged in playing like a show, I need a microphone. Like if I'm just playing my guitar, I can usually sing louder than the guitar. So, yeah. It's a good thing to be able to do.
It is.
Yeah. So back to cyberfucks. So yeah, systems failing, computer system, and computer consoles failing.
Classic car problems.
Just car problems. Cameras not working. Many trucks have broken down weeks or even days after the owners receive them. And due to the high cost of production and the difficulty molding the stainless steel parts for repairs.
How interesting.
The parts are very scarce, meaning that people have to wait additional weeks, months, or even months to fix their $100,000 cars. And, they're very scarce. They take a while to manufacture. So people aren't getting them timely, first of all. And then also on top of that, if they break or if they get in a crash, it's very hard to fix.
Right. And it's like, obviously these cars are breaking pretty quickly into when you like, it's like, oh, it's breaking like a week after I got it. And then I have to wait like months for the repairs.
Yeah. It almost feels like they should have waited on selling them.
Yeah. Or just never done it
at
all.
Not done it, truly. It's good. The backup camera has reported to not show depth correctly, causing drivers to back into objects, damaging their trucks. And I mean, these things are fucking huge. Like, they don't even fit in some garages.
Yeah, they are big. They are quite, after having seen one at IRL, they are quite big.
Yeah, they're almost military, like Humvee size.
Which, like, a Ford F-150 is also very large, but when like you're relying on a camera to help you navigate, yeah.
And on top of that, when the tunnel cover is up, which I think is like the part that, I don't know, they call it the tunnel cover. It goes on the back, makes it dark inside. Like when the tunnel cover is up over the car, it renders the rear view mirror useless because you can't see out the back.
Oh.
So you are completely reliant on the backup camera.
Oh.
Which, if that backup camera is not showing depth correctly, could be a problem.
You're screwed.
The axles and the wheels seem to break often during off-roading, and some trucks are not able to charge properly. When announced, the Cybertruck was promised to be able to drive 500 miles on a single charge. This is proven to be a lie. So that was a fucking lie, to quote Tyler, the creator. Did you look up what tunnel covers were?
Yeah, I see it. So it's basically, you can either have like a bed of the truck open, so it would look, more like your Ford F-150, where, you have like an open truck bed where you can put shit in it, or the tonneau cover would come and cover it up, and it just looks smooth. Yeah,
exactly. So if that tunnel cover is up, covering the bed, you cannot see out the back.
Well, that's stupid.
That's pretty dumb. Rear view mirrors are important. But yeah, so that was a fucking lie. Cannot drive up to 500 miles on a single charge. Another YouTuber did an independent test to see how far he could travel on a single charge and drove it until it died, like in the middle of the street. And they were able to just get over 250 miles. So barely over 50% what was promised. Towing.
Again, I love that you can just flat out lie.
You can just literally lie.
Just lie.
Not a single thing that was true. Towing with the Cybertruck is even worse. Complaints of the Cybertruck only towing 90 miles before needing to recharge have been reported. And additionally, most charging stations don't have pull-throughs for trailers, meaning that you would have to find a place to park your trailer recharge, and then reattach the trailer, which isn't necessarily Tesla's fault, but like just I feel like the world may not have been ready for like a fully, and I don't know, I guess there are some more e-trucks that are coming out, but like it doesn't seem like we have the fullest infrastructure ready for trucks.
I mean, even if you own like a fully electric car, it's just like it's a bit easier, but yeah, I think it's tough to commit to a fully electric car because there's just not that as many charging stations as there is gas stations.
No, yeah, you can find
like
a gas
I have a
station
hybrid,
anywhere.
which has been great, but like I would fear. I would love, don't get me wrong, I think electric cars are fucking amazing, and I would love to commit to a fully electric car, but it's just like the world is not quite ready.
Yeah, you just need to have more charging places available. They need to become synonymous like gas stations are.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, when we'll see a bigger shift to people going to electric cars fully.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In my
because I would.
Opinion.
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
Opinion.
That's my opinion.
That's my opinion. God, I love fucking reality TV.
It's too good.
My friend met Whitney Rose of SLC Housewives.
Oh, yeah. You were giving me a little crash course on SLC Housewives.
Taylor, can we please watch together? Because I still need to watch season 4.
Okay.
And even if you know nothing that's going on, can we just watch together and dish and have girl time?
Absolutely, we can do that. And honestly, I'll just ask questions. You can fill me in.
And I would love to fill you in because there's so much tea.
I would love the tea.
Okay.
Because literally, like, Eden's been watching Sex and the City.
Great
and, like,
show.
I've just been kind of, like, dad watching it behind them. You
Yeah,
know?
classic.
Like, arms crossed.
And you're like, I don't care about this.
But then I'll be like, Miranda's pregnant? When the fuck did that happen?
Like, Big's moving to Paris?
No, literally.
Yeah, can we please? Because I would love to. You would be like, wait, why is Meredith mad at Whitney? And I'll be like, let me tell you everything.
Yeah, no, literally. And
okay,
also,
let's watch.
On a separate note, fuck Big. I think Big sucks.
No, he sucks.
He's the worst, actually.
Yeah.
And they kind of give him an arc at the end, but I'm like, you don't deserve that arc.
He didn't.
You didn't deserve that arc. You literally have fucked Carrie around. And honestly, I have beef with Carrie, too.
Fair enough.
I have beef with Carrie too.
Fair enough.
But like, you have fucked Carrie around since day one. Day one of the show. And I'm mad about it.
Oh, I love when Taylor gets into like an old, like, not a sitcom, but like an old, like, I don't like girlies show. Like when you were like super into Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, I still watch Gilmore Girls every fall. So
as you should. But anyway, we're gonna start watching Real Housewives of SLC.
So ready.
Anyway, Queen, continue.
Back to it. So yeah, towing bad. Tesla stock is taking a heavy blow from the Cybertruck release. They are also facing multiple lawsuits over injuries sustained while using the self-driving feature of the truck, which I don't know. Self-driving cars kind of freak me out. Like the concept.
I would never. I'll never get on a helicopter. I'll never get on a motorcycle, and I will never get in a self-driving car.
Yeah, literally, like, I'll get in a self-driving car if you're not doing the self-driving of it. Like, if you're driving it.
If you as a human being are driving it yourself.
I will definitely do that. I don't know that I would ride with anybody in a Cybertruck either.
No.
I don't think I would want to be in the vicinity of someone who drives a Cybertruck.
No.
Honestly, for that matter as well. Even with the apparent disaster the release of the truck has been, some people continue to support Tesla, Elon, and his vision for the future of automotive travel. A quote from E&E News. I don't want... I'm going to read this as I read it in my mind.
Great.
I don't want something that looks like a Ford F-150. I want something that looks like it belongs on Mars and could eat a Hummer. Matt Holm, head of the Tesla Owners Club of Austin, said in an interview.
So true, Matt.
So true, Matt. Issues for the consumer aside, most car companies stay far away from stainless steel designs because of the difficulty in manufacturing stainless steel as a material. Most other car brands have tried stainless steel in the past, but it has not stuck as like a common car thing for a lot of different reasons. One of them being what Phoebe was talking about, like the crumple physics of a car. probably the other most like famous completely stainless steel car was the DeLorean. It was one of the last cars to be manufactured that was completely stainless steel. But even that wasn't like fully stainless steel. It just had like mostly stainless steel like parts, you know, and like the big parts of it. But a lot of this other stuff wasn't. This begs the question of why the Cybertruck is purposefully making its manufacturing difficult. Is it because Elon has a brave new vision of the future of cars? Or is it because he's a giant fucking dork who wanted to make a car that looks like it should be in a sci-fi movie?
I'm going to guess dork.
I'm going to guess the latter.
Yeah.
The Cybertruck is all around a failure, and I personally think it looks stupid. And like an asset that hasn't loaded into a video game map properly.
Yeah.
Glad I put that in there.
Yeah, it does.
The idiotic appearance isn't even excusable by the performance of the car, which has been one of the worst rollouts for such an expensive car ever.
Yeah.
Finn.
Yeah. Also, the like the tailgate, or I can't remember if it's the tailgate, or I think it's maybe the front like hood automatically shuts, but it can't detect if there's something in it. Like you've seen those videos where people put like a carrot and it just snaps the carrot in half, and
people have been like putting their hands, and I'm like,
yes, I
giving
saw
me
a video
anxiety.
where a man and it crushed his finger, and he had to go to the hospital, and he was like, my finger's broken, and I was like, yeah, dude, of course it is.
And that's like just like basic things you would expect a car to be able to like.
Because here's the thing, like if like the hood of my car right now, I think it is held up by like one of the little stick things, and yes, if I left my hand underneath while I shut the hood of the car, it would smash it. But if you're gonna have an automatic close, you need to program it so that it can detect if there's a fucking human finger in the way. Like my hatchback, the fucking tailgate of my car is automatic, and if anything, even like a little strap of my paddleboard thing is in the way, it will not shut. Because you need to add that safety feature.
It's safe.
You can't just let people's fingers get chopped off.
And
Tesla?
Especially if you're paying $100,000 for a car.
Yeah.
You think it should have.
Paying that much money, I would hope my fingers are not going to get chopped off.
Another tangent story. When I was like 3 years old,
Baby Tay,
my mom had a minivan. And I don't know if you know where this story is going.
Oh, I'm
scared. I put my fingers in the door, and my dad didn't realize it and shut it. And like, my fingers were fine. Like they didn't break them or anything, but
it hurt real bad.
It hurt. Huh? I don't remember it, but they said I cried a lot.
Yeah, that I feel like it happened several times that like my fingers just got like smashed in a car door as a child. It's just so painful,
dangerous thing.
Yeah, I did accidentally smash Siobhan's little snoot in the car door the other day, and I felt like a fucking monster because I put her in, and then I like went to shut the door, and she just like last minute like stuck her. And she's got a long little whippet nose, so she stuck it out, and she was like, I was like,
long nose, long neck.
Felt awful.
Yeah, but you know.
She was fine. She was literally 100% fine, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, and you know, it's dogs be dogs. Sometimes they get a little.
They're gonna get hurt.
They're gonna get hurt. It's like kids.
Yeah,
you know,
she's gonna trip and fall.
Yeah, they're gonna cut her little their heads on things.
Yeah, like... God, she smacks her little fucking noggin on like everything, and she's always fine. But I'm like, are you okay? She's just like running into walls. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
But anyway, that's the Cybertruck. Don't buy one.
Don't.
If you
were
thinking about it.
Buy a Ford. Like, just buy a fucking Ford F-150 if you must.
Buy a hybrid. Yeah, if you must, I guess. If
you're like a truck.
Yeah.
Like if you need a truck, buy a truck, but not a fucking Cybertruck.
There's, and it's like there's jobs that require trucks. I understand.
Yes, absolutely.
But you don't really need a truck for driving around town,
No.
Unless you plan on like moving a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's
nice.
Elon and what he's been up to.
Damn.
Still bad stuff.
Still bad. Still doing bad things.
Yeah.
Classic Elon.
Classic.
Oof. Well, today, everyone, I'm going to talk to you about airplanes.
Small airplanes, right?
No, pretty big airplanes, actually, believe it or not. And I named my article, "Look, Mommy, there's an airplane falling out of the sky." Because I don't know if you know, what is it? I think it's at the beginning of The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "Look, Mommy, there's an airplane in the sky."
Yeah.
And I just remember hearing that song as a child and thinking that was stupid, even as a child. I can appreciate the artistry of Pink Floyd. Never been a fan. I am so sorry.
I'm really glad that you say that because I've
really
harbored a lifelong hatred of Pink Floyd.
Taylor!
Yeah.
I just my heart is so warm. This is a whole new level to our friendship.
Truly. I never liked them.
I hope this doesn't turn away some listeners. I hate Pink Floyd. I don't like them.
I get what like you said, I get it. I get that they were pioneers and like they did a lot for psychedelic rock and but again, I just
not for me.
I can't get behind music that only is cool when you're high, you know?
It's just not for me.
Yeah.
It's really not for me. Just I can really enjoy some Beatles songs and even some of their albums, but at the end of the day, the Beatles, not for me.
Yeah.
I just don't like them that much. Same thing with Pink Floyd. I really don't enjoy their music at all.
I think I kind of had a little bit of like, I don't know, trauma might not be the right word, but trauma, but like light trauma, diet trauma.
Sure.
With like the band I was in high school, because the guitarist was a dick ass, and like probably the only person in the entire world that I like hate or don't like, you know.
Yep. I know exactly the name.
That was his favorite band, was Pink Floyd, and I just remember I was like, I'm so tired of listening to like Comfortably Numb. Like
God.
I just want to listen to anything else.
Yeah. I just don't trust anyone whose favorite band is Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it's just never. They never are like. They never turn out to be cool guys.
No, I'm so sorry to anybody listening that's into Pink Floyd.
And
I
again,
really am.
I respect that you like them, and I respect them.
I respect what they've done.
Not for
me. And I bet maybe you don't like Charlie XCX all that much. I think she's a brilliant, brilliant genius.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Everybody has their own taste.
It's true.
But I personally think Pink Floyd is garbage.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh no,
that's so good. I had no idea.
And our listener count goes down.
Yeah, literally just ostracized. So a ton of listeners. Yeah.
So I'm a really anxious flyer. I don't know like what happened to me. I've kind of hated flying ever since becoming an adult, which is really weird because I used to love it like even up through my teens. So I don't really know what happened to me. I just like one day like something snapped in me and I was just like, this is not natural. Like we as human beings should not be careening through the air.
We were not meant to take to the sky.
To do this. The Wright brothers were wrong.
So true.
But every single time that I get on an airplane now, I'm convinced that it's going to fall out of the sky, and I will die a horrible fiery death. Yeah, it's fine. I'm medicated. I'm in therapy, everyone. It's all good.
No, I understand where you're coming from completely, though, because I'm like, this is going to be the one, you know, because everybody's like, oh, you're more likely to get in a car accident than a plane crash.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm the statistic.
Like, this is going to be the one that happens. Like, Malaysian flight, whatever, the one that disappeared, like that's I'm fucking next, you know.
Yes.
Like, let's go.
Literally, yes. I just take a Xanax every single time that I fly and pass out. Unless if it's an under 3-hour flight, I just like white knuckle it, or I will get several beers beforehand. Several. Or I'm taking a Xanax and I am ceasing to exist for the duration of the flight.
That's valid.
What's made this all so much worse lately is the fact that all of my worst fears are coming true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure like me, many of you have been seeing stories of Boeing 737s falling out of the sky, or at least dropping tens of thousands of feet while flying. So what the fuck is going on?
I would like to know.
Me too. Is the world ending, and have my fears always been correct and I should just stop taking my anxiety medication because I'm actually right about everything? No. But what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Not quite. However.
I won't. Because it's actually helping me a lot. But so there are several types of Boeing 737 MAX planes, starting with the MAX 7 being unveiled in 2016, and then newer versions being released in the following years as hastily as the new iPhone is released. The MAX 8 being approved in 2017, and MAX 9 in 2018, MAX 10 in 2019. So literally like a new fucking iPhone being released. They were just like, here's all these new planes.
Yeah, which we know it only makes things better when you rush products out the door.
Yes, and planes are notoriously super easy to make and program.
No, for sure. And like, you know, you don't really need to test them that much because they're just like so good. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So the problems really began with the MAX 8. Before these planes even began their preliminary flights, there was some sketchy shit going on with them. Let me tell you what happened on the Lion Air Flight 610 from Jakarta to Pangkal Pinang, Indonesia. On October 29th, 2018, 189 people were aboard Flight 610 on a brand new Boeing 737 MAX 8. So new, in fact, that it had only previously flown 800 hours, which is nothing.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
For a plane. Yeah. 13 minutes into the flight, the plane began to nosedive and crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 189 people on the plane.
Dope. Yeah, that's good.
Super great.
Yes.
Not
tragic.
The worst nightmare of my fucking life.
Horrifying. And yeah, no, literally.
Yeah. The night before the crash, the plane had suffered a previous incident, which thankfully did not lead to any deaths. The flight from Bali to Jakarta had been having issues maintaining a safe altitude and was described as feeling like a roller coaster ride, but not in a fun way. At one point, the plane dropped 200 feet in mere seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah. I would literally shit myself.
No, I would actually, like, I'd be like, this is the end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna...
Yes, you would be traumatized for life.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I could never.
For life.
Again.
For life.
I'd be
yeah.
taking boats places, y'all.
Same. I already wish I could.
Yeah.
Passengers reported the smell of burnt rubber and the plane shaking violently during the flight. Again, traumatizing.
Yeah.
The plane landed safely at its final destination and was inspected and cleared for its flight the next morning.
Oh my God.
Despite obvious issues. The National Transportation Safety Committee, NTSC, denied that any black box recording of this flight existed, which is literally fucking insane and just
That's
a flat out lie.
impossible.
Yes.
It records everything. That's the point of the black box.
Yes. It's almost impossible to destroy these things.
Yeah,
the point of them existing is they record like every single piece of how the plane took off, what the instruments were doing, everything, to know what happened to make the plane crash. So it's literally a fucking lie that there was no black box recording. Like that's also like illegal.
Yeah, no, like you have to have that. And like, well, that's the thing, because I recently listened to a podcast about that Malaysian flight, like 117 or whatever, that disappeared. And that's like the big thing is everybody's like, we need to find it so we can find the black box to see what the fuck happened.
Right.
And like, again, presumably like they're water resistant, like they are like incredibly difficult to destroy.
Yes.
Because they want to know what the fuck happened.
Yeah,
like,
to prevent it from happening in the future. So what happened on Flight 610? The MAX 8s have a new kind of technology called a Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, which I will just refer to as MCAS from now on, because that's a lot of words to say. Macaws!
Yeah.
And I'm just going to quote the Wikipedia for what this system does, because I'm not a pilot and I can't describe this very well. So thank you, Wikipedia, which is, you know, it's fact checked, whatever. I made sure that this came from a reputable source, just so you know. Anyway, quote, when activated, MCAS directly engages the horizontal stabilizer, which is distinct from an anti-stall device, such as a stick pusher, which physically moves the pilot's control column forward and engages the airplane's elevators when the airplane is approaching a stall. So essentially what this does is pushes the nose of the plane downward, causing it to head down. I'm sure there is some good reason for this new software, but to me, someone who knows literally nothing about flying and who is terrified of planes, I think this sounds like a terrible software to install. Again, I'm positive there's a great reason why they came up with this, but me, I am just like, sounds bad.
Sounds scary.
Yeah. What's even stranger about this technology is that Boeing intentionally never included information about this new system in the aircraft documentation. So the pilots never knew about it and never knew what this system would make the plane do. So basically with each aircraft that the pilot's going to fly, because pilots like are trained to fly. Of course, like typically they're going to fly like the same type of aircraft, but as new aircrafts are released, they learn to fly new aircrafts, or as aircrafts are sort of like updated. And so they have like basically a fucking owner's manual.
Yeah.
And yeah, this entire existence of this system was completely omitted from the manual of this plane.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, like, you would want your fucking pilots to know how to fly.
Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want
think.
them to know?
Like,
if there was some...
So the most basic thing that they should do is keep your pilots updated on what the plane does.
Yeah. So when the angle of attack sensor, which is like this little flappy thing on the front of the plane, it's like this weird little arm thing that kind of comes out from the front of the plane, and it like detects like the way the plane is tipping, basically. Again, I'm sorry if I'm not like totally correct on this. I'm not a plane person, and it takes a lot of work to research exactly what every single little piece of a plane does. Anyway,
people go to school for it.
So I'm trying to explain it the best that I can with the very little knowledge that I have. Anywho, so the angle of attack sensor, the little flappy thing, it sent incorrect data to the plane's computer system, which caused the MCAS to kick into gear and push the plane into a nosedive, causing it to plummet into the sea below and kill every passenger and crew member on the plane. What's even weirder is that the Federal Aviation Administration approved Boeing not including MCAS information in aircraft documents. Following the Lion Air crash, Boeing promised that the software updates would be made to the MCAS and urged pilots to follow a checklist that could pull the plane out of a nosedive should another issue occur, which frankly I also think is kind of just bullshit. Like, if your system is incorrectly sending a plane into a fucking nosedive, like, you maybe just like don't
recall the planes.
Yeah, don't
be like, here's some instructions that might help not kill 118 people.
In the event that this plane goes into a nosedive because we installed this software that might just send it into a nosedive, here's things you can do to prevent it from going into a nosedive. When it's like, well, maybe let's just like not have that software at all.
Or yeah, like fix the software
or
that
fix
sends
the software.
it into a nosedive.
Don't just send planes out going into nosedives.
Like, oh my god, it's like, you know, like, oh, like if you get a fucking snake bite, right? Like, here's things you can do to like prevent dying, and it's like,
right.
But ideally, don't get a snake bite.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
ideally or not. Like, here's things you can do to prevent getting a snake bite in the first place. So, believe it or not, doing basically nothing about a major system flaw on a fucking aircraft did not fix the problem, and a few months later, on March 10th, 2019, another tragedy occurred. Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital city, to Nairobi in Africa, held 157 people. 2 minutes into the flight, the MCAS... 2 minutes!
Oh my god.
The MCAS was activated, causing the plane to nosedive. Pilots shut off the trim tab software. The trim tab is like, again, this little, it's a flappy. I'm going to just use the term flappy again. It's this little flappy piece on the wing, which like I'm sure actually if you have a wing seat when you're flying, you can kind of like see it moving.
Yeah.
So they shut off the trim tab software, which would in turn shut off the MCAS. But by shutting off the trim tab software, they had made it impossible to bring the plane back to a stable position. The engines were in takeoff mode, which when you are in takeoff mode, the engines are at full power, and that rocketed the plane down to the ground because, again, these engines are at full power in order to propel the plane upward, but when you're pointing downward and these engines are still in takeoff mode, you are flying at the ground at full fucking speed. The pilots attempted to pull the plane up themselves by the wheel, but the weight system of the plane had made this impossible. They then turned the trim tab system back on, hoping that this would stabilize the plane, but by turning that system on, they also turned back on the MCAS.
Jesus.
Yeah, which caused the plane to nosedive even further. The plane crashed into a field at 700 miles an hour, killing all 157 people on board. The final report of the crash confirmed that the most likely cause of the crash was due to the MCAS. Quote, repetitive and uncommanded airplane nose down inputs from the MCAS due to erroneous AOA, the attack of angle input, and its unrecoverable activation system, which made the airplane dive with the rate of negative 33,000 feet per minute close to the ground was the most probable cause of the accident. Yeah.
It's a fucking death trap. Like, they just made a death trap plane. Like,
yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And in this case, you can see, like, they clearly tried to do multiple things to try to, like, circumnavigate this system and save this plane. And it didn't work. Mm-hmm. Everything they tried, like, made it worse, basically.
Jesus.
Horrible.
And again, like, Boeing just being like, it'll probably work. We don't want to lose. We don't want to lose all our money. So just we're not gonna do anything, but just try messing around a little bit and see if it fixes it.
Dinking around in there.
Yeah, and just tinker with it a little bit, and hopefully you don't die. Hopefully
Jiggle the
you
handle.
don't fucking die. Like I think I was telling you this when this like first like hit the news and whatnot, but I was like, this is just such a fucking classic like business caring about profit more than human life, and it's like just the purest evil that has ever existed.
Yeah, truly.
And it's just crazy,
especially when it comes to flying, because it's like people don't have any other choice.
Yeah, like
we do not have really any other travel choice. You can't really take a ship these days, and I'm also not going to do that because it's going to take me a month to get to fucking wherever I'm trying to go.
Die from scurvy.
I can't. Yeah. Also, yeah. I can't take a train places anymore, at least out of country. Yeah. And in the United States, I can't get anywhere on a train. So most travel plans, you absolutely are having to take a plane somewhere.
Yeah.
So when you, as the owner of this massive, almost monopolized travel company, flight company, you are like ignoring problems, ignoring the deaths of like over 300 people.
And it's
evil, and it is like just such fucking corporate greed where like
private company. And again, it's like I presume that Boeing is like, I mean, you might even get to this, but I presume they're a big lobbyer of the airplane industry, and I'm sure that plays into why there's not more regulations on them. And it's like, again, when you are dealing with at least 100 people's lives at a time, like the government, not a huge fan of the government, but that's something they should be regulating and making sure that we don't fucking die.
Yes, regulating to like the nth degree, because you have over 100 people on these planes at any given moment, and hundreds of planes are flying out of every single fucking airport every day. Anyway. Ugh. Okay. The reports also state that the pilots and crew were partially responsible for the crash, stating that the pilots had not followed protocols that could have resulted in them successfully stabilizing the plane and avoiding the crash, which I think like maybe is fair enough. However, it kind of sounds like I had been saying, their pilots had been set up for failure. Yeah. Even though new training to circumvent the faulty MCAS systems had been implemented since the Lion Air crash, it seems to me that more should have been done when Boeing realized that the MCAS technology was faulty as fuck.
No, I would agree. I mean, I feel like you have a thing that's broken, and they're like, we'll train people on how to fix it if it breaks. And again, it's like, no, just fix it. Like, I don't know. Again, it's so evil. It's so evil.
Yeah. After like airplane crash number 1, I would be like, all right, let's do every single thing in our power to never let this happen again, because that's like the most horrifying situation a person can be in.
No, it's terrifying, and it's wild that they would rather save money on not updating the fucking training.
Yeah.
Because again, they knew that this was an issue before, which and they left out that in the training.
Initially, and then it's like they did after that initial horrific crash, they did update the training, but like obviously it wasn't good enough because these pilots did a ton to try to like save everybody in their power, and it did not work. Man. Yeah.
Fucking insane shit.
Yeah. On that note.
You know what won't crash a plane with 157 people on it?
Taking a break.
Taking a break and potentially someday having ads here.
Yeah.
Word. Ads, Boeing airplanes.
Me and Tayler, not last weekend, but the weekend before, we went to the lake.
Yes, we did.
Or a reservoir, technically. A reservoir. It was so much fucking fun, you guys.
So fun.
We did a little paddle boarding.
Yeah,
the little baby pup came. She
True.
chilled on the patty board with us.
True.
We towed Tayler and Taylor's fiance around in their little like blow up tubey things.
Yeah, Walmart pulled through with those. Those were like
$5.
They were
great.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No.
Those were high quality.
Yeah, they were really good.
Damn. Yeah, we had a ton of fun. Hopefully we're going to be able to do that again this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's so fun.
I'm planning on it, so.
If you haven't, go to a lake or a reservoir.
Yeah, if there's one near you, or if you're a lucky bastard that lives near a beach.
Yeah,
go to one of those.
Actual beach. Yeah, that's the move, really.
But it was great. I have a couple paddle boards. We paddle boarded. We fucking drank some beersies. We ate some Sammies. We chilled on the sunshine.
Beautiful. Eden and I brought probably too many cocktails.
You guys brought a lot of cocktails.
Well, because like
had the cocktails on lock.
Eden's not really a beer person.
That's fair.
And like I get that, and they because like even with White Claws and stuff, they're like they're really really sweet.
I get that.
And, like,
they
I
are.
get that
they
are sweet, but so I was like, yeah, we get some cocktails, but they make these like little like fucking like glass jar ones.
Yes.
That are like, whatever cocktail. It's
like a Mai Tai.
A Mai Tai or a strawberry daiquiri or whatever. And like those motherfuckers are like 20%. Like,
and you don't
insane.
realize it. And then you take like 4 sips and you're like, holy shit.
Like, holy fuck.
I'm fucked up now immediately.
The amount of times we've been like drinking those, specifically at like a lake or a reservoir.
Always.
And then like we're like
an outdoor kind of drink.
I'm sick. I do not feel good now.
I'm sick. I need to go home.
I need to go throw open that bush real quick.
Yeah.
BRB. I'll be good in a second. Just gotta pull trig, as they say.
Pull trig. Oh no. Yeah, there's something about being, especially near a body of water, where I need to drink Kona Big Waves. I have to.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very beach.
It is a lake day beer.
It's a lake day beer. Yeah. Similarly to how like a Corona is a beach beer.
Corona's a beach beer. I must have a Corona on the beach. I must.
A Kona Big Wave is a lake beer.
Yes.
That's
and because I would not drink a Kona on the beach.
No.
Even though it's literally named after a Hawaiian island.
It's still not, it's still not happening.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
A Corona on the beach.
Yeah. You know what? I'm declaring the beer of the summer, though. And they're a little difficult to find, but you can get them. I think at Mavericks. Leinenkugel Summer Shandy.
Oh, the fucking lemon ones. Oh, those are
they're
fucking
so good. I had about 600 of those when I went to Chicago.
Yeah.
And fuck, that's a good beer.
Those are fucking
and it is
good.
You have a little sippy and you're like, ooh,
like,
it's summertime.
It's so summer's so back.
So summer is literally so back. It has been hundreds of degrees.
True.
And I am so happy.
Yeah.
I love the feeling of my skin burning, and that's not a joke.
Yeah, just sizzling off of you.
Sizzling.
True.
I love it.
I think the cocktail of the summer, I'm trying to bring back fucking G&Ts, dude. A little gin and tonic.
Tayler! I love G&Ts.
G&Ts are so fucking good.
Here's what we're going to do. G&T night, fucking RHOSLC. We're going to drink our G&Ts. We're going to watch our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And that's what, and that's it. And that's the whole plan.
That's fucking summer right there, baby.
And that's summer.
That's on summer.
And that's on summer. And then like we'll take little breaks in between watching episodes and like sit outside to be like, ooh, summer.
Especially like a summer evening.
I love
a summer evening with a G&T and a fucking,
please,
however you say the lemon shanty one. I don't know.
Leinenkugel. Yeah. Yeah, can we like chill on my porch and stuff?
I love chilling on the porch.
Okay, come over a lot more.
Yes. Okay. All right.
We're besties.
We're
we
so
love
besties.
each other, guys. Wow. Anyway, what's happening today
Boeing
on this show?
Boeing.
You guys are just having to listen to us be like, here's our summer plans.
Yeah.
God. Anyway.
It's hopefully you've developed enough of a parasocial relationship with us.
Yeah.
That like you're like, oh,
That's what
gonna
I'm
be there
banking
too.
on.
Yeah.
That's literally what I'm banking on. Yeah. We could just record us like hanging out on the porch for everybody who
Literally.
has a bit of a parasocial. Anyway, all right, let's talk about airplanes crashing out of the fucking sky.
Jesus.
So, following the Lion Air crash in 2018, the FAA, which had approved MAX planes for use and approved the omission of information about MCAS in aircraft documents, had projected that this technology would lead to at least 30 crashes in at least 15 years. The FAA never shared this projection with any outside sources and didn't choose to ground MAX planes at this time.
Why?
Because evil.
Because Boeing lobbied them.
Yes. Only after the Ethiopian Airlines crash would the FAA step in. Boeing was forced to ground all 737 MAX planes for 20 months from March 2019 to December 2020 while an investigation took place and Boeing updated safety protocols and technology of these airplanes. She's asleep. Good. The puppy's asleep, everyone. A second sleep has hit the puppy. I said a really bad joke during a plane episode.
Yeah, but it's funny. Oh, man. I'm glad. You know, I've always had a theory that, like, there's a certain, like, ratio of, like, time versus, like, severity of tragedy before you can start, like, joking about it, you know? Because it's, like, when you were growing up, right? Like, everybody was like, oh, 9/11 jokes, don't make those. It's bad, right? It's because it was, like, kind of recent. But it's like no one was like, don't make Titanic jokes or whatever.
Right, exactly.
You can make Titanic
we had
jokes.
the whole song.
But I feel as though we have now hit the point where like 9/11 jokes are back and funny.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And I think it's good. It's funny.
Yeah. I think also just the fact that allegedly it was an inside job makes it a little bit easier to joke about.
Heavy allegedly there.
Heavy allegedly. Again, what is happening this episode? So during the investigations, it was found that the 737 MAX planes also had issues with flight computers and cockpit displays. So it was not just the MCAS systems that they were having issues with. There was multiple issues with these planes going on that just one little investigation it took to find out like, oh shit, these are made really poorly. Boeing held that they were unaware of systemic issues with the MAX planes and that they had known that had they known of these issues, they would have addressed the problem. However, during investigations, it was revealed that Mark Faulkner, a technical pilot working on the MAX planes, had reported issues with the MCAS, though it would be Faulkner himself who got the approval to omit the mention of the MCAS from the aircraft documents. So I don't really know what was going on there. There was an article that I was reading. Faulkner said something that he didn't know that he when he omitted the report of the MCAS, he didn't know that he was misleading the FAA. I don't really know what was going on there, and I'm not insinuating anything with this one worker because I could not find details with what the fuck was actually going on there.
Maybe he thought that if he reported it, then they'd fix it.
Yeah, but
just to give the benefit of the doubt.
Sure,
I guess.
But the facts are that this guy Mark Faulkner did report to higher ups issues with the MCAS, but then he was the one to get approval from the FAA to omit mention of the MCAS from the aircraft documents. So I don't know what happened there, but interesting. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Let me get this. Tayler, fill the air. I got to get this squeaky toy out.
So how about that airline food? Also maybe a bad joke to make this episode.
I think it's perfectly topical.
I mean,
sorry if you could hear the squeakies. She was just chewing on her little toy. Again, it's puppy times. Are you fucking joking?
Shiv literally... Phoebe took the puppy toy out of Shiv's mouth, put it on the counter, and Shiv just jumped up damn near jumped onto the counter, grabbed it, and then swung it back down. That was like the funniest slapstick comedy I've ever seen. Oh man,
she's so good. It's just like she's such a good puppy. Whippets are very good jumpers.
Yeah,
that is gonna be a problem because she discovered real quick into her life that she was good at jumping.
Yeah, she can hop.
So she's gonna hone that skill fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's not squeaking right now, so we'll just push through it, folks.
It's all right.
Anyway, puppy issues. You know what? She's cute as fuck, so you all can suck it. Okay. It was also revealed that the production team was under high pressure to work quickly. Ed Pearson, who had worked on Boeing's production team, says that he warned leaders multiple times about corners being cut during the production of new planes and that he was repeatedly ignored. A quote from a Rolling Stone article illustrated Boeing and the FAA's responsibility in these disasters. Quote, after 18 months of investigation, the U.S. House Transportation Committee publishes a damning report that describes how the company could have prevented the Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines crashes, also noting that the FAA had ceded too much oversight to Boeing itself in the certification process. The report cites the company's rushed production and cost-cutting measures as contributing to safety failures.
Oof, dude, I can't imagine being like a family member of somebody who passed away and then reading that report and being like, so you just wanted to make more money and rush out a plane and my family's dead now. So
they knew the whole time.
Thanks. Cool. Yeah, that's
the
really
whole
good.
Time.
Really good of you.
Yep.
Again, like I said, just the most purest evil form. Like,
yes.
Like my part of the episode was like, billionaires bad, they cut corners in making this car, and there are some safety issues, like it could be bad, as we talked about, but like this I just feel like is just so evil on like such a different level. Like
yeah especially again like when it comes to like mass transportation and like flying, which is such like to somebody who's terrified of flying, like it's such a like I don't know, you are putting all of your trust into this company, this aircraft, the pilots. Like, literally. You are putting your life is truly, truly in somebody else's hands. Like, car crashes, terrible. And, like, yes, a lot of times it's not your own fault, but, like, you're behind the wheel and you can sort of, like, at least kind of control things. But, like, when you are on a plane, your life is in the hands of everybody involved in the process of getting you onto that plane. And you are just, like, trusting that it's all going to turn out okay.
Well, and it's not like you have a choice, really, of, like, what... Because what's the other, like, big... Skybus, I think is what they call them?
Yeah, Airbus, I believe.
Airbus, yeah. It's like... Yeah, there's kind of another, like, big plane manufacturer.
Right, but
like,
again, Boeing basically has a monopoly on the industry.
You don't really get to choose that either.
You're pretty much going to take a Boeing
And so
plane.
It's like... At least with like a car, you can be like, oh, I'm going to get this car because it's really good safety rating. I'm not going to drive a fucking Cybertruck. But it's like with a plane, it's again, you don't really have a choice.
No.
Like if you want to fly, you got to do this. And again, you can't really take boats and stuff. Like
Right. Yeah. Ugh. So in December of 2020, MAX planes were approved again for flights in the U.S. and in January 2021 in Europe and Canada. On January 5th, 2024, Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 from Portland to Ontario experienced a traumatizing event when just 6 minutes into the flight, a door plug came off the plane, creating cabin pressure issues, sucking several objects out of the open hole, including the shirt of a teenage boy who was being pulled towards the opening. His mother says that if she had not been holding him down, she fears that he would have been sucked out of the plane.
Holy shit, that's gotta be the fucking scariest shit. Like, I mean, obviously it was hard. It was like enough force to suck his shirt off.
Exactly.
Like, whew, yeah.
Yes. The pilots were able to make a safe emergency landing, and all 177 people on the plane survived with minor injuries. The door plug was found in the backyard of a home in Cedar Mill, Oregon, which is like just...
Jesus.
Holy shit.
That's insane. That's like... That reminds me of the Breaking Bad episode.
Me too.
When the plane parts are like falling around.
Yeah.
And, like, because of the crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good show.
Good show.
The door. So explanation behind like what this door plug situation is. So the door plug is installed to fill the place where an emergency exit door would be. The 737 MAX 9s have 2 optional emergency exit doors that can either have the doors installed or the door plugs installed, which tend to appear just like a regular cabin window, and the passenger sitting in that seat would not have the typical responsibilities of a passenger sitting in the emergency exit seat. So that's kind of the like pro. So they have like, let's say, 2 exit doors more towards the front and then 2 exit doors more towards the back, and they can choose to just fill that with the door plug. And then the pro of that would be that like the passenger sitting in that seat doesn't have to, because if you're sitting in an emergency exit seat, you don't get to have your carry-on or your personal item with you. It has to be stowed in the thing. And then obviously in event of an emergency, you must be responsible for like opening up the exit door and everything. So the pro is that there's only like one set of people that have to do all the emergency exit shit.
No, I mean, that makes sense. And I assume that like they keep some, like there's some doors that are
these planes have
automatic
4 emergency exits, and you can not downgrade. Well, in this case, it was a big downgrade, but you can fill them with these plugs so that it's only
2, right?
2.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's still typically fine. Anyway, the door plug had been removed prior to this flight to repair damage to rivets near the door plug. The plug was then reinstalled but never bolted back into place.
Jesus.
What the fuck? During investigations, United Airlines revealed that they had found loose bolts on an undisclosed number of aircrafts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just had to let that one sink in. And Alaska Airlines revealed that they had found loose bolts on, quote, many aircrafts. The National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the bolts intended to secure the door plug had never been installed. NTSB Chairman Jennifer Homendy attempted to retrieve security footage of the installation of the door plug, but this footage had been overwritten. Boeing claimed this was standard practice for the company, which, like, maybe, but if it is, why is that your standard practice,
again,
right?
I feel like you should... Again, there's just so many like little things that are like adding up to being like, wow, Boeing is like, I don't know, the tiny little like corner cutting and oversights. Like,
exactly.
They really don't want to be like take any accountability.
Exactly. Like obviously this is like a shoddy ass fucking company that is our biggest air flight company that exists.
Love it.
And the issues with the 737 MAX planes continued. On February 6th, 2024, United Airlines Flight 1539, which was a 737 MAX 8, was landing in New Jersey when the rudder pedals became stuck and the pilots were forced to turn off the runway and were able to gain control of the pedals again. So they were landing and they basically like couldn't stop.
Damn.
Like they landed and it was just like the brakes were broken.
Jesus.
No one was injured during this incident, but United Airlines, when testing this plane again after the incident, experienced the same issue. So this obviously is like a recurring fucking thing with these planes. On May 8th, 2024, a Southwest flight on a MAX 8 from Phoenix to Oakland began experiencing what is called Dutch roll. This is when the plane begins wobbling back and forth in a figure 8 kind of motion. So like the tail and the nose are kind of like, we want. So the plane isn't like fully flipping the fuck over, but like the tail and the nose, I'm like gesturing with my hands that
almost
you guys obviously can't see.
Teeter totter, like kind of going back
a little
and
bit.
Forth.
Yes. With like a little bit of like a circular motion to it. Google a video.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. It's an audio format only.
Yeah.
There was substantial damage found to the rudder that would allow pilots to get control of this rolling. Pilots were able to get control of the aircraft despite this and land safely in Oakland, thank God. And just barely, on June 22nd, literally fucking just bare the fuckly.
Yeah. Bear the fuckly, really.
Korean Air Flight KE-189, a MAX 8, suffered an issue with its pressurization system, causing the plane to drop 26,900 feet in 15 minutes, less than an hour into the flight.
Very cool.
fucking terrifying.
Absolutely.
The pilots were able to land the plane safely back at the original airport, but 17 of the 125 passengers were hospitalized for minor injuries.
Wow.
Yeah. Clearly, Boeing is still having issues with their MAX planes despite an almost 2-year grounding and inspections and subsequent investigations. Boeing was sued for over $20 billion, and another quote from the Rolling Stones article outlines the lawsuit. Quote, Boeing paid more than $20 billion in customer compensation, victim compensation, jet storage, added production expenses, software updates, loan interest, and lawsuit settlements. In January 2021, it agrees to pay another $2.5 billion to defer prosecution for 3 years on a criminal charge of conspiracy to defraud the United States by circumventing proper federal oversight of its aircraft design, with $500 million going to the families of the 346 victims of the Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines accidents. Mm-hmm. In September, it agrees to pay $200 million fine from the Securities and Exchange Commission for misleading the public. End quote. Yep. Boeing, however, did attempt to avoid paying the victims of the Ethiopia Airlines crash, with Boeing attorneys arguing that, and get ready to fucking be angry as shit, Boeing attorneys arguing that, quote, evidence of pre-impact fright and terror is not that relevant because the evidence tends to show that the passengers had no time to experience conscious pain and suffering after injury because they died immediately upon impact.
Thank goodness.
That makes it so much better.
The families, the families shouldn't get money because the people, when they died, it was quick. They didn't suffer. They
died upon impact when the plane rocketeered into the fucking ground.
What the fuck does that even mean? Like, okay, like, even if that were true, right? Like, which, again, I don't know shit about plane crashes. Shit about fuck, really. But, like, even if that were true, that doesn't alleviate the, like, suffering and the grief of the family.
Exactly.
Like, the reason that you compensate families after a tragedy is because, like, shit is fucking like their lives have been turned upside down. It's
You're
like
paying this money because that person died.
Like, it doesn't matter if they died quickly or if they suffered.
Right.
Like, what are you trying to even
also,
fucking argue?
When a plane crashes, regardless if it like crashes really fast into the ground and you die upon impact, like, you as a passenger on that plane are still aware, like, holy shit, I'm about to die. Mm-hmm. So I guess, sure, that person is dead now, but, like, they still experienced trauma. Really? And also their living family, whose family member is now dead, deserves to have financial compensation from this, especially when you, Boeing, are responsible for their deaths.
Fucking crazy.
Fuck you.
That fucking argument could fit in Brandy Melville. It's so thin. Crazy.
Oh, shit.
And I feel like this is just is the classic case of, like, the biggest airplane manufacturing company that exists is, like, it. I don't know. I guess it just goes to show that, like, you can make the shittiest product in the entire world, but because you can, like, make your stock look really good, you can be the biggest airplane man. Like, Boeing should not be able to be the biggest airplane company after this, but, like,
no,
they're not. It's who else is gonna fucking do it? Like, it's
exactly. And, like, sure, you guys they've been reliable up to this point, but, like, obviously you have reached a point in your wealth or in your, like, greed or whatever, that you are pushing these insane new planes out with these crazy new systems and these giant jets that are not working well and that are literally leading to the deaths of, like, hundreds of people, that, like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that anymore.
Yeah, like, we should ban Boeing from existing, like, bring in more reliable manufacturers, like, yeah. But how capitalism should work,
right?
It, never works that way.
Yeah, but it breeds innovation.
Of course.
So Judge Jorge Alonso did not buy this bullshit from Boeing, and believe it or not, made Boeing pay the victims' families, stating, quote, a jury could reasonably infer from the evidence that will be presented at the trial that the passengers on the flight perceived that they were going to crash horrifically to their certain death.
Is very true. Very true. Yeah, I mean, capitalism breeds innovation.
Yeah.
If that innovation is how fast can you make a plane fucking nosedive into the ground and kill 157 people?
Yeah. Thank you, Tayler, for saying things while I was running around grabbing things out of my dog's mouth. That's the quality you expect.
Exactly.
From this.
I'm a podcaster. I can speak in the microphone
on a dime.
Woo!
On a dime. So John Barnett, he had been a quality inspector for Boeing for 30 years, having retired in 2017. He was a key member of the investigations against Boeing. He told BBC in 2019 that, and I'm about to read a fairly long quote here, quote, under pressure workers had been deliberately fitting substandard parts to the aircraft on the production line, and that he had uncovered serious problems with oxygen systems, which could mean 1 in 4 breathing masks would not work in an emergency, and that soon after starting work in South Carolina, he had become concerned that the push to get new aircrafts built meant that the assembly process was rushed and safety was compromised, something the company denied. He told BBC that workers had failed to follow procedures intended to track components through the factory, allowing defective components to go missing. He said in some cases, substandard parts had even been removed from the scrap bins and fitted to planes that were being built to prevent delays on the production line. He also claimed that tests on emergency oxygen systems due to be fitted to the 787 showed a failure rate of 25%, meaning that 1 in 4 could fail to deploy in a real-life emergency, end quote. So, obviously, some really important fucking shit was getting completely pushed to the side, and, like, the workers who were on the production line for Boeing were, like, being so rushed and pushed and worked to the bone that they were like, they were just, and they were like, putting together these things and just being told like, no, just don't even worry about it. Put together these faulty parts. Just do it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Mr. Barnett was in Charleston, South Carolina, attending legal interviews for the Boeing case when, and I'm so sorry about what's about to come. This whole episode's been pretty tough, so whatever. Attending legal interviews for the Boeing case when on March 9th, 2024, he was found dead in his truck in his hotel parking lot. He was scheduled for further questioning, and when he didn't show, his attorneys contacted the hotel where he was found dead. The death was ruled as suicide by self-inflicted gunshot wound, but Barnett's attorneys are not so sure. Quote, yeah. He was in very good spirits and really looking forward to putting this phase of his life behind him and moving on, the attorneys Brian Knowles and Robert Turkowitz said in a joint statement on Tuesday. We didn't see any indication that he would take his own life. No one can believe it. John Barnett's family did, however, later state that he had been suffering from PTSD and panic attacks, and that the, quote, hostile work environment at Boeing had been the cause of his death. There was a strange note found in Mr. Barnett's truck that doesn't do much to clear up the situation, but it certainly made my hairs raise. And I'm going to read that note. It's kind of tough to read. There's like a lot of just scribbling all over this page, but I'm just going to read some of these parts. It says, I can't do this any longer, ! Enough, ! Fuck Boeing, ! Family and friends, I love you all. America, come together or die. Pray the motherfuckers that destroyed my life pay. I pray Boeing pays. Bury me face down so Boeing and their lying ass leaders can kiss my ass. To my family and friends, I found my purpose. I'm at peace. I love you more. And then it says, again, sorry, it's kind of difficult. It says in the margins, whistleblowers protection is fucked up too. P.S. The entire system for whistleblowers is fucked up. It says, and I wasn't stoned when I wrote this, really. And then, he also put in the margins, Trump 2024.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, I mean, how do you feel? Because
I feel some things.
Well,
Certainly.
and just the fact that he was like out in his car,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, people, when you're in a state of mind like that, you know, it's you do things that are irrational, but it feels like if you're gonna do that, you don't go out to your car when you like where other people could see you.
Yeah.
You stay in your hotel room, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not alleging anything
Yeah.
at all and would never
No, yeah.
against Boeing.
Of course.
But you know, this note is just real
interesting.
And
It doesn't read like a
suicide note.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's all I have to say is it's just really interesting how whistleblowers tend to die by suicide or other.
It's like
frequently.
Not to be disrespectful, but the fucking meme that's been going around that's like, oh no, you made serious allegations about Boeing Airlines. Time for you to get in the forever box.
I mean, but really though,
it's fishy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
and
all of this is alleged and
hypothetically in Minecraft.
This is a comedy podcast, and you can make no legal drawings from this.
And we're not alleging anything, but the circumstances of our friend's passing was interesting.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Truly.
Whatever the case, Mr. Barnett is not the only Boeing whistleblower death this year. Literally not the only one this year.
Wow.
Just over a month after the passing of Josh Barnett. No, I'm sorry. John Barnett. They have almost, it's John Barnett and Josh Dean. So sorry that I messed that up just barely. Both these men deserve the honor. So I apologize for messing up their names. John Barnett, who I just talked about. Josh Dean is this other man who was a whistleblower and died. Josh Dean died in the hospital on April 30th, 2024. Literally just about a month ago, after Mr. Barnett died. So Josh had been a quality auditor at Spirit Aerosystems. They're a supplier for Boeing. Josh had brought up many issues to higher up at Spirit about manufacturing on the 737 MAX line. He says that he too was ignored by leadership. Josh Dean was fired by Spirit in April 2024, and he filed a complaint with the Department of Labor following the firing under the pretense that he had been fired due to the complaints that he had filed with the higher ups. So he believes that he had been fired because he came to leadership with these complaints about manufacturing issues, which I would believe.
Yeah.
A quote from the Seattle Times details some of Josh's worries. Quote, in October 2022, Dean said he found a serious manufacturing defect. Mechanics improperly drilling holes in the aft pressure bulkhead of the MAX. When he flagged this issue with management, he said nothing was done. Focused on these defects, he said he missed that same audit. Focused on those defects, he said he missed during that same audit a separate manufacturing flaw in the fittings that attached the vertical tail fin to the fuselage. When that was discovered in April and caused a delivery pause at Boeing's Renton plant, Dean was fired. Then in August, Spirit announced the discovery of improperly drilled holes in the Max's aft pressure bulkhead, a flaw that was presented in Max's built as early as 2019. This caused another delivery halt in Renton. After I was fired, Spirit Aerosystems initially did nothing to inform the FAA and the public, end quote, about their knowledge of the aft pressure bulkhead defects, he wrote in his complaint. End of the full quote. Josh was initially sent to the hospital. So anyway, this all happened, and then he ended up in the hospital for trouble breathing. He was intubated and then quickly developed pneumonia, which then turned into MRSA, which is one of the worst infections that a human being can get. It will basically kill you immediately. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. It acts quickly and aggressively. Josh died after a short fight, spending time on dialysis and then being transferred to an ECMO machine, which regulates a patient's heart and lung functions for them. And he then finally suffered a stroke and passed away at just 45 years old.
Wow.
Which is very young to be struggling with these kinds of
I would
things.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they know anything about like what initially caused him to go to the hospital? Like,
not from what I read. Josh had always been known for having a very healthy lifestyle, so this kind of came out of left field for his family. Him catching this infection was never anything that his family had planned for.
Wild.
Brian Knowles, which was the lawyer of Josh Dean and also the lawyer of John Barnett. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I got that name right. He had this to say, quote, "Whistleblowers are needed. They bring light to wrongdoing and corruption in the interests of society. It takes a lot of courage to stand up. It's a difficult set of circumstances. Our thoughts are now with John's family and Josh's family."
Yeah. I feel like, so I have like a few thoughts.
Please
I mean,
share
there's a
with
lot
the
of
class.
thoughts, right? But like going conspiratorial, all allegedly, of course. Say allegedly, either I feel like if Boeing wasn't involved, allegedly, in a hypothetical conspiracy sense,
Exactly.
then
Continue, yes.
I'm curious as to, say they weren't involved in the direct like murder of these people. Like, was there something that they were doing, like some kind of harassment that pushed them to that point? You know, I mean, the note is definitely pretty incriminating. He seems to be very paranoid.
He said like there's no protection for whistleblowers.
Exactly.
You know, the entire system for whistleblowers is fucked up.
Yeah. So even if it's indirect, I feel as though something pushed them. And,
right.
You know, I suppose there's probably an argument for the pressure of going up against a huge company like Boeing.
I'm sure it's
but
tough.
I really feel like there's more to it. And again, just the fact that both of them passed away is a real big coincidence, and allegedly it doesn't look good for Boeing.
Yeah It's just really interesting how two of these people who came out and, you know, bravely like shared the stories of all of these like purposeful manufacturing like defects due to the pressure of the Boeing working environment. You know, it is just interesting that both people who brought these things up and went to like took legal action are now not alive anymore.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting how that tends to happen. And it's interesting how that has happened quite frequently with people who tend to be whistleblowers. How they're not alive anymore a lot of the time.
They no longer live.
Yeah. So, you know, not alleging anything, not saying anything, but it's just interesting, isn't it?
It's so interesting.
How these billions and billions of dollar corporations just always end up with, you know, the people who have anything to say about it are not alive anymore.
It's so good. I bet they're really grateful that so many of these people who call out these huge corporations are just have so many mental health issues and so many you know, really bad accidents. And they've said that they're very regretful, or not regretful, but you know, they're very sorry to the families that are suffering this. So and I'm sure that they are. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure that Boeing is. So, you know.
Anyway.
So there is still like ongoing legal trials happening. So we shall see what happens.
Yeah.
in the future. But all that being said, you can actually try to filter out. It doesn't always work because actually somebody who was they weren't a manufacturer, but they were like a, can't remember what the word was. Not a test pilot, but like a technical pilot for Boeing. Literally purposefully, he had to take a flight, and there's certain like booking programs that you can use, and you can filter out types of planes, and he had filtered out Boeing Max planes, and then he actually ended up on a Max plane, and he walked on the flight, realized what kind of plane it was, and walked off and said, I am not getting on this plane.
Man.
So coming from the mouth of somebody who had literally worked for Boeing creating these type of planes, went to get on one himself, sat down, saw the like little fucking leaflet in the damn seat back pocket, realized what kind of plane it was, and walked the fuck off. So all that being said, if you can, try in these little programs to like sort of filter out these planes. And if you can't, and you still end up on one anyway, walk the fuck off, because guess what? Your life is way more important than whatever trip you're about to take.
I would agree.
Yeah, there you go. That's all that. So not a real, like, not very many solutions at this moment, but just like...
We will be following this, I'm sure, and
because things are developing.
Yeah,
so
I would like to check back in on the Boeing sitch. Terrifying. Absolutely, every aspect of the story is absolutely terrifying.
Like, if I wasn't already like horrified by flying enough, it is so awful. It's so awful.
Yeah.
Every single time I get on a plane, I just have to like the entire time convince myself that like everything's gonna be okay, and it's not that easy anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be. I used to be like, this is irrational thinking, Phoebe, but I can't do that anymore. I can't.
I'm like, actually, I have kind of good reasons to not trust.
Like a lot of good reasons to feel the way I'm feeling.
Yeah, big corporate airplane guys. Man, well, terrifying, and be safe out there, y'all.
Yeah, truly.
When you're flying.
Truly. And don't drive a Cybertruck, or if you're near one, try to get as many lanes over as possible.
Get away from it. You never know when it's going to be on a death rampage, going full speed down the freeway. So pretty wild.
Yeah.
Anyway,
plug her up.
Remarkspod at twitter.com.
Woohoo. Go to at Remarks
X,
Podcast
whatever.
on, who cares? Go to at Remarks Podcast on Instagram if you want to see some little photos that we will post. Nothing too graphic, just so you know.
Yeah. Give us a little like and review, or a review on the star, a rating, I guess, on Apple Podcasts.
If you'd like.
You can find my personal Instagram is T_T_Lace_19. And I make music. It's just under my name, Tayler Lacey, TAYLER
And it's good. And it's good music.
It's
and you can find my personal Twitter at Phoebes Elise. I'm pretty funny on there sometimes. So
I think you're hilarious.
Thanks, I am hilarious. So we love you guys. Thanks for listening. Love you. Bye.